The monument in the sand. The wind that blows across the Giza Plateau at midnight carries the scent of dry stone, old dust, and distant water. Imagine you are standing there now, far from the noise of the modern world, wrapped in a cool, dark cloak of desert air. Above you, the sky is a vast canopy of indigo, salted with stars that have burned for billions of years. In front of you, rising like a solid mountain against the starlight, is the Great Pyramid. It does not seem like something made by human hands in this light. It feels like a natural feature of the earth, an ancient pillar holding up the heavens. The silence here is heavy, thick, and reassuring. It is a silence that has accumulated over 4,500 years, settling into the joints between the massive limestone blocks. Close your eyes and feel the coolness of this night, allowing the weight of your day to dissolve into the timeless expanse of the desert. There is no rush here, no sense of urgency, only the slow, eternal breathing of the earth under a canopy of light that has watched over the rise and fall of countless generations. Let the rhythm of your heart slow down as you step off the path of modern time and enter a realm where thousands of years pass like a single evening breeze. To approach the pyramid in the quiet hours of the evening is to realize how small we are in the great current of time. Your footsteps make no sound on the soft, shifting sand that accumulates at the base of the structure. The desert floor absorbs every movement, creating a vacuum of sound where only the slow, natural rhythm of the earth exists. As you reach out a hand, your fingers brush against the rough, weathered surface of a limestone block. It is cool to the touch now, having surrendered the fierce heat of the Egyptian sun hours ago. This single block is taller than a person, weighing several tons, and it is merely one of over 2 million blocks that comprise this single monument. You look up, following the sharp angle of the corner as it climbs toward the stars, pointing directly into the dark heart of the sky. The sheer vastness of the monument looms above you, not as an aggressive weight, but as a protective, permanent presence that has held its ground while human civilizations rose, flourished, and vanished into the dust. You feel the physical reality of the stone, its ancient texture etched by centuries of wind-driven sand, standing firm against the infinity of the desert sky. Every microscopic grain of stone tells a tale of duration, an endless sequence of days and nights where the sun rose in golden fire and set in purple shadow, leaving the pyramid exactly as it was, untouched by the fragile anxieties of human life. The air is completely still, yet you can feel a subtle vibration, a low hum that exists more in the imagination than the ear. It is the weight of history pressing down upon the earth, a deep resonance from a time when the world moved at the speed of the river and the seasons. In the distance, the faint, silver ribbon of the Nile reflects the crescent moon, just as it did when the first surveyor drove a wooden stake into the bedrock to mark the pyramid's footprint. The sand beneath your feet holds the memory of millions of footsteps, priests walking in silent procession, skilled workers returning to their mud brick quarters after a long day of labor, conquerors staring in disbelief, and modern travelers seeking a truth that words cannot fully capture. All of them stood where you stand now, looking upward in silent wonder, reduced to a quiet reverence by the scale of human ambition frozen in stone. The darkness softens the rough edges of the stone, making the massive monument look like a solid shadow, a geometric silhouette carved into the fabric of the universe itself. You breathe in the dry, crisp air, letting the vastness of the landscape expand inside your mind, clearing away the clutter of everyday thoughts. The desert night does not demand anything from you, it only invites you to witness its profound, unmoving peace, a peace that has remained unbroken since the dawn of the Old Kingdom. Every stone in this structure has a story to tell, a narrative of human muscle, sweat, and collective will. When you stand close to the base, the sheer scale becomes overwhelming, yet there is a strange comfort in its immense stability. The pyramid has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the changing of languages, and the shifting of the Earth's very axis, yet it remains fundamentally unchanged, an island of absolute stillness in a turbulent sea of human history. The blocks are fitted together with a precision that defies the simplicity of the tools available at the time. In the dark, the joints between the stones are nearly invisible, appearing as faint, dark lines in the gray limestone surface. You can barely slip a sheet of paper between them, so tightly are they wedged against one another, locked in an eternal embrace that has resisted earthquakes, political upheavals, and the relentless erosion of the desert winds. Imagine the dedication required to shape each block so perfectly, knowing that it would carry the weight of a mountain above it and hold its place for thousands of winters and summers. This precision is a form of silent architecture that speaks directly to the soul, suggesting that even in the ancient past, human beings possessed a vision of order that mirrored the structural perfection of the cosmos. A gentle breeze begins to stir, rustling the dry grasses that grow in the crevices of the desert floor. It creates a soft, whispering sound as it brushes past the sharp corners of the pyramid, like a voice trying to communicate across the millennia, sharing secrets that have long been forgotten by modern minds. You lean back against the stone, letting its absolute solidity support you, transferring its ancient strength into your tired body. The coldness of the rock seeps through your clothes, grounding you, reminding you of the enduring reality of the physical world. In this space, the worries of your modern life seem to dissolve, shrinking in comparison to the immense lifespan of the monument before you. The stars above seem to move in a slow, stately dance, pivoting around the unseen point of the celestial pole, directly aligned with the peak of the stone mountain, creating a perfect loop between the heavens and the earth. You look into the shadows cast by the moonlit edges, watching how the darkness plays across the giant steps, creating a landscape of light and shade that looks like an ancient staircase ascending to the heavens. Each shadow is a repository of silence, a calm pocket of darkness where the mind can rest without distraction, drifting deeper into a state of safe, supported tranquility. As the midnight hour deepens, the color of the stone seems to change, shifting from a dusty gray to a deep, charcoal black, and then to a soft, luminous silver where the moonlight catches the upper tiers. The pyramid is not a dead thing, it responds to the light of the cosmos, reflecting the moods of the sky and the passage of the hours. In antiquity, when it was covered in polished white Tura limestone, it must have shone like a brilliant star on the surface of the earth, visible from miles away, reflecting both the sun and the moon with blinding intensity. It was a beacon of human capability, a literal mirror for the sky. Now, stripped of its outer shell, it reveals its inner core, the raw, muscular geometry that has allowed it to endure while everything else around it crumbled into dust, showing that even in its weathered state, its structural truth remains unassailable. You watch the silver light move slowly across the stone faces, a slow-motion clock ticking away the hours of the night in perfect, uninterrupted silence. The steady movement of the moonlight over the ancient blocks is like a gentle hand soothing the landscape, reminding you that nature always brings a time for rest, a time for shadows, and a time for deep, restorative quiet. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the vast emptiness of the desert. There are no cars, no modern lights, no distractions. There is only the rhythm of your own breathing, slow and steady, matching the deep, unhurried pulse of the ancient earth. The pyramid stands as a bridge between the ground beneath your feet and the infinity of space above. It is an anchor of stone in a sea of shifting sand, a physical manifestation of human focus and spiritual devotion. You can feel the deep peace that resides in this place, a tranquility born from total permanence and quiet majesty. The night wraps around you like a warm, protective blanket, safe, secure, and infinitely old, shielding you from the chaotic thoughts of the modern world and inviting you to simply be. Let your consciousness blend with the cold limestone, finding comfort in a structure that has masterfully withstood the weight of time, waiting silently for the dawn while you rest deeply in its shadow. The entire plateau is asleep now. The wind has dropped to a faint sigh, and the great monument holds the world steady as you let go of the day and slide into a state of pure, untroubled rest. Let your mind drift into the deep shadows of the stone. The pyramid will stand through the night, just as it has for thousands of years, watching over the sleeping world with a silent, benevolent gaze. The stars will continue their slow, silent journey across the sky, guiding the earth through the darkness and into the quiet safety of tomorrow. You are safe here, resting in the shadow of history, wrapped in a peace that time cannot diminish. The desert floor is wide, the air is clean, and the monument protects your slumber. Every stone is an anchor for your thoughts, pulling you down into a soft, dreamless valley of calm. The desert is quiet now. The stones are asleep. The night is complete. The geometry of the Immortals. Let us consider the mathematics of this ancient wonder, not as a cold, detached science, but as a form of sacred art, a language written in stone to communicate with eternity. The builders of the Great Pyramid did not merely pile rocks upon rocks, they worked with an accuracy that seems almost miraculous to the modern mind, blending architecture with astronomy in a way that has never been repeated. Imagine a square base so perfectly level that the corner furthest from you varies by less than an inch from the one nearest to you. This level of precision was achieved over an area vast enough to hold several football fields, on a natural mound of bedrock that had to be carved away and incorporated into the design with mathematical perfection. The lines are straight, the angles are true, and the orientation is nearly perfect, revealing a deep understanding of the laws of nature. As you think of this flawless layout, let your mind find its own sense of balance, aligning your thoughts into a quiet, harmonious order that mirrors the peaceful accuracy of the ancient builders. The pyramid faces the true four directions of the earth, north, south, east, and west, with an error so small it can hardly be measured without modern satellite equipment. How did they achieve this alignment without a compass, without optics, without the advanced electronic instruments of today? They looked to the stars with a clarity of vision that we have lost in our well-lit cities. They watched the movement of the night sky, tracing the paths of circumpolar stars that never set, using the steady rotation of the universe to fix a perfect line on the shifting sands of the earth. Imagine the ancient architects standing in the dark, using simple plumb lines and wooden sights to align a string with a star, capturing the cosmic order and freezing it into the eternal geometry of the stone, ensuring that their work would forever remain in harmony with the celestial dance. This connection to true north means the structure is directly tied to the axis of our planet, making it a physical manifestation of the Earth's place in the wider cosmos, a stable point around which the night sky turns in a flawless, silent wheel of light. Inside the massive body of the pyramid lies a complex network of passages and chambers, a hidden labyrinth carved into the heart of the mountain. Unlike other ancient structures which are solid stone, the Great Pyramid contains soaring spaces like the Grand Gallery, where the walls rise in corbelled tiers of polished granite, narrowing as they approach the ceiling in a display of masterful engineering. The air inside these chambers is still, heavy, and maintained at a constant temperature of 68 degrees Fahrenheit, perfectly insulated from the extreme variations of the desert weather outside. Walking through these passages in your mind, you feel the absolute isolation from the outer world, a deep, silent sanctuary protected by millions of tons of solid rock, where time itself seems to slow down and lose its meaning. There are no echoes here, no modern noises, just a profound, absolute weight of stone that blankets the interior in a soothing, permanent silence, inviting total detachment from the world outside. The darkness within these rooms is thick and protective, a warm velvet space where your mind can unfold without effort, resting in the very center of an ancient masterpiece. The stones themselves tell a story of immense logistics and profound understanding of geology. The core blocks are local limestone, yellowed and coarse, but the inner chambers are lined with massive blocks of red granite, transported from quarries in Aswan, hundreds of miles to the south. These granite blocks, weighing up to 80 tons each, were moved along the Nile on great wooden barges and lifted into place high within the structure with a precision that allows no room for error. To cut granite, one of the hardest stones on earth, the ancient builders used copper saws and abrasive quartz sand, wearing away the rock grain by grain with infinite patience, a steady, rhythmic labor that transformed raw, chaotic stone into smooth, beautiful walls designed to protect the king's final resting place for millions of years. Every polished surface reflects a meticulous dedication, a repetitive, calming action carried out by craftsmen who understood that perfection required time, focus, and an unhurried mind. The absolute flatness of these walls creates an architecture of pure peace, where every stone fits its neighbor with the quiet certainty of pieces in a grand cosmic puzzle. The question of how these massive stones were raised to such incredible heights remains one of the greatest debates in human history, an intellectual puzzle that continues to baffle modern engineers. No single theory fully satisfies the imagination. Were there massive, straight ramps stretching out into the desert for miles, requiring as much material as the pyramid itself? Or did a spiral ramp wind around the exterior, hiding the growing monument from view as it climbed toward the sky? Some engineers suggest internal tunnels, acting as hidden tracks through which the stones were hauled using counterweights and clever mechanical systems. As you contemplate these possibilities in the quiet of the night, you realize that the ingenuity of the human mind is as vast as the structures it creates, finding elegant solutions through organization, cooperation, and tireless dedication. The unknown nature of their methods does not feel frustrating. Instead, it adds a beautiful layer of mystery to the structure, allowing it to remain a blank canvas for human wonder, a proof that human intelligence can transcend the limits of its tools to leave an eternal mark upon the face of the earth. There are those who find the mathematical properties of the pyramid even more fascinating than its physical dimensions, discovering a profound relationship between the structure and the planet it sits upon. The ratios of its height to its base perimeter closely approximate the mathematical constant of pi, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Was this a deliberate design choice, an intentional embedding of cosmic geometry into the architecture, or was it the natural byproduct of using a rolling wheel to measure distances? The debate continues across the centuries, but the result remains identical, a structure that harmonizes beautifully with the mathematical laws that govern the universe, a silent testament to an advanced understanding of form, proportion, and the deeper structures of reality. This mathematical harmony speaks directly to our subconscious, providing a sense of universal truth and structural correctness that makes the pyramid feel inherently peaceful to look upon, as if the building itself were a physical musical note sounded in perfect chord with the universe. The golden ratio, that aesthetic proportion found everywhere in nature from the spiral of a shell to the arrangement of distant galaxies, is also woven into the dimensions of the Great Pyramid, giving it an undeniable visual balance. This harmony of form gives the structure its unique aesthetic power, making it feel balanced, resting completely at ease upon the earth rather than imposing itself upon the landscape. When you look at its profile against the night sky, your eyes naturally follow the slope, experiencing a sense of resolution, calmness, and peace. The building does not fight gravity, it embraces it, distributing its immense weight perfectly down to the bedrock, an immortal triangle etched against the infinity of time, reminding us that true strength lies in balance, symmetry, and harmony. Let this sense of perfect mathematical proportion settle into your mind, easing away any tension and replacing it with a quiet, geometric stability that carries you further into the gentle currents of rest. Let the numbers, the measurements, and the structural debates fade away now, leaving only the beautiful, balanced shape of the monument in your mind. The lines are straight, the angles are calm, and the structure is perfectly at rest under the watchful eye of the cosmos. The ancient engineers have finished their work, their tools are quiet, and the stones are silent. You can rest now, knowing that some things are built to last forever, unchanging, secure, and infinitely peaceful. The numbers dissolve into silence, leaving only the quiet comfort of a perfect form sleeping under the stars. The geometry of the night is perfect. The mind can rest. The world is still. The cradle of the Nile. To understand the pyramids, we must look away from the stone for a moment and look toward the river that made them possible, the great green ribbon that brought life to a land of death. The Nile is the lifeblood of Egypt, a silver thread running through a vast, golden desert, dictated by cycles as old as the earth itself. Imagine the ancient world during the season of the inundation, when the river swelled with tropical rains from the south, overflowing its banks and covering the valley in a layer of rich, black soil. During these months, the fields could not be farmed, and the entire energy of the nation shifted from agriculture to architecture. The river became a great highway, a moving conveyor belt capable of transporting thousands of men, tons of supplies, and massive stones from one end of the kingdom to the other, uniting the land in a single, sacred purpose. The water moved with a slow, heavy majesty, guiding the fate of an empire along its banks, carrying the dreams of a people on its broad, mirror-like surface. For a long time, popular stories suggested that the pyramids were built by thousands of enslaved people, working under the cruel lash of an overseer in a land of suffering. But modern archaeology has shattered this myth, revealing a very different, far more beautiful truth about the society that created these wonders. The people who built the pyramids were respected laborers, skilled craftsmen, and dedicated citizens who viewed their work as a profound spiritual duty and a point of immense personal pride. Near the Giza Plateau, archives and excavations have uncovered the remains of a vast workers' village, a bustling community where thousands of people lived, cooked, ate, and slept in comfort. They were well fed on fresh bread, beef, fish, and beer, provided by the royal granaries, and they received advanced medical care for their injuries, their bones carefully set by skilled physicians who treated them as valuable assets to the state. Their daily lives were supported by a massive infrastructure that ensured their well-being and recognized their contribution to the eternal kingdom, making them part of a grand social family bound by mutual care and respect. The workforce was organized into large teams, which were then divided into smaller, highly cooperative units called fills, each bearing proud names like the Friends of Khufu or the Drunkards of Menkaure. There was a deep sense of camaraderie, identity, and healthy competition among these groups, who left their marks in red ochre paint on the hidden faces of the stones, structural graffiti that remained invisible for thousands of years until modern explorers uncovered them. Imagine the sound of these men working together in the early morning fog, singing rhythmic songs to synchronize their pulling, their voices echoing off the limestone cliffs as they moved as a single, collective organism to achieve the impossible, bound together by a shared goal and a deep sense of community. The unity of their efforts turned an unimaginable task into a daily routine, structured by shared breath and communal strength. When the day's work was done, these groups sat together around open fires, sharing stories of their home villages, their laughter blending with the crackle of burning tamarisk wood under the rising moon. To these workers, the pharaoh was not merely a political ruler or a distant tyrant, he was a living god, the earthly manifestation of Horus, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, the cosmic order, balance, and truth of the universe. The construction of the pyramid was an act of cosmic maintenance, a collective project designed to ensure that when the pharaoh died, his soul could ascend safely to the stars, becoming an immortal spirit that would protect Egypt from chaos for eternity. By participating in this great work, every laborer, baker, weaver, and stonecutter felt they were helping to weave the fabric of reality together, ensuring the regular rising of the sun, the annual flooding of the river, and the continued survival of their world. This deep spiritual connection transformed physical labor into a form of active meditation, elevating their daily efforts into a sacred dialogue with the divine order of the universe, where every stone laid was a prayer for peace and cosmic balance. The life of ancient Egypt moved to a slow, predictable rhythm, governed by the daily journey of the sun and the seasonal pulse of the river. In the evenings, after the fierce heat of the day had broken, the workers would gather by the water channels, watching the fireflies dance over the papyrus reeds while the sky turned shades of purple and gold. The smell of roasting fish, garlic, onions, and freshly baked emmer wheat bread would drift through the village lanes, mixed with the sweet scent of lotus blossoms. They lived simple, connected lives, deeply attuned to the natural world around them, accepting the cyclical nature of life and death with a calm, reassuring certainty. The pyramid rising on the horizon was not a symbol of oppression, but a source of immense national pride, a visible mountain of achievement that belonged to everyone who had contributed a stone, a loaf of bread, or a prayer. As the night deepened, their conversations would quiet down, leaving only the sound of the water lapping against the mud banks and the wind rustling the high palm fronds, lulling the entire community into a safe, well-earned sleep. In the quarries, the stonecutters worked with tools made of copper, bronze, and stone, utilizing methods that required a deep, intuitive understanding of the material rather than brute force alone. They would look for natural flaws and veins in the limestone, driving dry wooden wedges into carefully cut channels, then soaking the wood with water so that it expanded slowly, cracking the massive blocks away from the bedrock with a clean, satisfying snap that echoed through the valley. They would then use diorite pounding stones, harder than flint, to smooth the faces of the blocks, checking their work with simple strings, levels, and wooden squares with a devotion to accuracy that bordered on the sacred. It was a craft passed down from father to son, a legacy of touch, sight, and sound that transformed raw nature into sacred geometry, ensuring that each block was worthy of its place in the monument of the king. The repetitive thud of stone on stone became the heartbeat of the quarry, a calming, steady cadence that shaped the foundations of eternity with patient, unhurried precision. The landscape itself was an active participant in this story, shaping the consciousness of the people who lived within its borders. The golden cliffs of the desert, the brilliant blue of the sky, the vibrant green of the valley, and the dark, mysterious waters of the river formed a harmonious palette that instilled a sense of permanent order in the Egyptian mind. They did not see themselves as separate from nature, but as an integral part of its endless cycles of rebirth and renewal. The pyramid was designed to mirror the primeval mound, the first dry land that rose from the chaotic waters of creation at the beginning of time. By building it, they were repeating the act of creation, establishing a stable center point around which the human world could safely revolve, an eternal anchor for the spirit that would withstand the test of time. Let this landscape of ancient peace settle into your thoughts, visualizing the gentle river and the quiet valley as they rest under the darkening sky, perfectly content in their eternal design. The ancient workers have long since laid down their tools, and their songs have faded into the desert wind, leaving only the silence of their creations behind. The river continues to flow, silent, deep, and continuous, carrying the memories of a vanished world into the great sea of history. The village is quiet, the cooking fires have burned out, and the people are at rest in the soft embrace of the earth they loved. Sleep comes to the Nile Valley, just as it did thousands of years ago, under the same unchanging stars that watched over the builders. The physical world rests, holding the memories of ancient craft close to its core, untroubled by the passage of time. The cradle of the river is peaceful. The ancestors are resting. Good night to the ancient land. Echoes across the cosmos. As we look back at the Great Pyramids from the vantage point of the modern era, the mystery does not diminish, it deepens, expanding into the vastness of human imagination and cosmic scale. The absolute precision of their construction, combined with the lack of detailed written records from the time of their building, has left an empty canvas upon which humanity has painted its wildest dreams and grandest speculations. When you look at the three pyramids of Giza standing in a slight, deliberate diagonal alignment on the plateau, it is impossible not to notice how they mirror the organization of the night sky itself. Some astronomers and researchers have pointed out that their arrangement matches the three stars of Orion's belt, that great celestial hunter who walks across the southern sky every winter night, bridging the gap between the terrestrial sand and the stellar void. This alignment suggests that the builders wanted to create an earthly reflection of the cosmic architecture, a mirror that would tie the fate of humanity to the immutable laws of the stars. The connection between the stone and the stars goes even deeper than a visual alignment on the ground, revealing a sophisticated architectural plan that tied the interior of the monument directly to the heavens. Within the Great Pyramid, narrow, stone-lined shafts lead outward from the king's and queen's chambers, cutting through the massive masonry for hundreds of feet to point directly toward specific regions of the night sky. Thousands of years ago, these shafts pointed like permanent stone telescopes toward the circumpolar stars, the imperishable ones that never set, symbolizing eternal life, and toward the constellation of Orion and the bright star Sirius. To the ancient Egyptians, these were not just random points of light, they were the celestial homes of the gods Osiris and Isis, the sacred destinations toward which the pharaoh's soul would journey after death, launching into the cosmic ocean to become an unperishing star itself. The shafts acted as cosmic highways, channels designed to direct the spirit of the ruler straight into the immortal heart of the universe, ensuring an unbroken link between earthly rule and celestial eternity. Because the engineering feats of the ancient world seem so vast, and our modern technology is so reliant on machines, some modern minds have struggled to accept that these wonders were achieved by ancient humans using simple tools and pure organizational skill. This skepticism has given rise to the popular, romantic theory that ancient civilizations were visited by extraterrestrial beings, advanced travelers from distant stars who provided the knowledge, technology, or physical assistance needed to construct these impossible monuments. While mainstream history and archaeology find no evidence for these claims, celebrating instead the magnificent capability of human organization, the theory itself speaks to a deep, universal truth. When we look at the pyramids, we feel we are looking at something that belongs to the universe, something that connects us directly to the stars and challenges our understanding of what is possible. It reflects our innate desire to find a connection with the wider cosmos, a longing to see our structures as part of a grander, galactic design that spans across the infinite blackness of space. When we attribute these monuments to visitors from another world, we sometimes underestimate the incredible, untapped potential of our own species and the power of human dedication. The true magic of the pyramids lies not in anti-gravity beams, lost technologies, or alien blueprints, but in the boundless capacity of human intelligence, cooperation, and patience. The ancient Egyptians did not have computers, but they had human minds capable of profound mathematical observation. They did not have cranes, but they had thousands of human arms working in perfect harmony toward a shared destiny. The pyramids are a monument to what humanity can achieve when it focuses its collective energy toward a single, transcendent vision, lifting stone upon stone until it touches the sky, proving that our potential is as limitless as the stars we look up to. We are reminded that human hands, guided by clarity of mind and unity of purpose, can build structures that outlast empires and challenge the very concept of time, standing as an eternal proof of our innate greatness. Over the millennia, the meaning of the pyramids has transformed in the eyes of the world, adapting to the dreams and anxieties of each passing generation. To the Greeks, they were the first and greatest of the 7 wonders of the world, a testament to human ambition. To the Romans, they were symbols of an ancient, exotic wisdom that predated their own world. To Napoleon's soldiers, they were a dramatic backdrop for military glory and historical scale. Today, they stand as a universal heritage, a shared monument that belongs to all of humanity, transcending national borders and cultural differences. They remind us of our shared origins, our shared curiosity, and our shared desire to leave something permanent behind, a marker in the sand to say that we were here, that we loved beauty, and that we looked up at the stars and wondered who we were in the grand design of the cosmos. The stones have become a universal language, understood by anyone who has ever stared into the night sky and asked the timeless questions of existence, connecting us in a silent brotherhood of wonder. There is an old Arabic proverb that has echoed through the centuries, carrying a deep truth about our relationship with time: man fears time, but time fears the pyramids. In the quiet of the night, this truth becomes tangible, a soothing balm for the restless modern mind. Everything else we build seems fragile, fleeting, and temporary in comparison to these mountains of limestone. Our cities change layout, our technologies become obsolete within years, our languages evolve beyond recognition, but the stone monument remains exactly where it was placed, facing the true north with perfect, unswerving loyalty. It sits in the desert, a silent witness to our frantic history, offering a profound sense of perspective that lowers our pulse and calms our spirits. In the presence of such permanence, our daily anxieties lose their sharp edges, shrinking into insignificance, allowing us to let go of our need to control the future and trust in the steady, enduring rhythm of the world. The massive blocks stand as guards against the chaos of the passing days, grounding our thoughts in absolute, unshakable stability. The night is drawing to its natural close, and the stars are beginning their slow, majestic descent toward the western horizon, fading into the deep blue of the pre-dawn sky. The Great Pyramid stands in the fading starlight, solid, peaceful, and eternal, holding its secrets close to its chest. The mysteries of how it was built, who designed its hidden paths, and what secrets still lie hidden in its undiscovered chambers do not need to be answered tonight. They are safe in the keeping of history. They can remain tucked away in the quiet dark, waiting for another day, another generation of dreamers. For now, in this quiet room, it is enough to appreciate its beauty, its silence, and its profound, unshakable calm. The air is cool, the sand is still, and the universe is at peace, cradling you in a safety that has survived for thousands of years. Let your eyes grow heavier as the starlight softens, sinking into a deep, untroubled sleep that mimics the absolute quiet of the desert floor, safe in the knowledge that some wonders are eternal. Let your breathing become as slow and steady as the centuries that have washed over the Giza Plateau, regular, deep, and calm. The journey through the ancient sands is complete, the stone mountain is at rest, and the stars are watching over you with a quiet, eternal affection. You are safe here, floating in the great, gentle current of time, protected from the world outside. Let the darkness wrap around you, soft, deep, and welcoming. Rest now, leaving all your thoughts behind. Feel the peace of the ancient world settle into your bones, carrying you smoothly into a deep, restorative sleep. The plateau is completely still, the air has gone quiet, and the universe holds you safe. Good night.